Hello and welcome to the Hold All Tickets World Pool Preview in collaboration with the Hong Kong Jockey Club. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly, here to preview day one of the Ebor Festival coming your way from York. We have a massive week of World Pool racing, of course, Bet with the World with the Hong Kong Jockey Club and the World Pool this week at York. As said, a massive week coming up. On Wednesday evening, we do have International Stakes Day, the Juddmonte International. It is a cracking race. All 7 races brought to you by the World Pool. Then on Thursday, it is Yorkshire Oaks evening. Of course, all 7 races once again brought to you by the World Pool. And then on Friday, we have Hopeful Stakes Day at Newmarket. Races 1 and 2 coming your way from Newmarket. And the Nunthorpe Stakes, the 1,000-metre scamper down the hill at York. All 7 races once again in action for the World Pool. So in total, 23 races coming your way from the World Pool over the coming days over in the UK. We'll be here each morning on the way through to preview all of those race days. We'll be picking some of the races apart, having a few bets along the way. So we may as well get into it because we do kick off on a Wednesday night. Tonight, if you are watching this, the Juddmonte International is their headline race. It is a race number 4 on a Wednesday night. It is a small but select field here with just the 6 to go around. Beer Castle lines up. He looks to be the pacemaker for Godolphin. Danon Desal, the champ from Japan, comes across. Ombudsman, See the Fire, Darries and Delacroix, the 3-year-old. This is an amazing field. Thing is, we're going to take a really good look at this race and have a deep dive into it. So we're going to take a look at a couple of replays because a few of these horses, the form all ties in together. So we're going to start with the last start Coral Eclipse where Ombudsman was run down by Delacroix. So as we can see here, you've got Ombudsman in front and John and Thaddy Gosden came out after the race and said they've got the tactics wrong. He's in front, but he's wobbling about here, which is a bit different to his last start win in the Prince of Wales Stakes. And we can see here Delacroix in the last 100 metres really flattens out and just nabs him on the line there. So a really interesting race to sort of dissect because now we've got the Godolphin horse coming across from France, Beer Castle. They've paid the late entry fee for this horse to have him run here and be the pacemaker because if we take a look at the Prince of Wales Stakes, which we'll look at now, there was a hot pace that day because Coolmore actually set the pace that day there for Los Angeles. But you can see here, Ombudsman in the blue jacket, all held up with nowhere to go. I was lucky enough to be on course here at Royal Ascot. This turn of foot once he gets out is seen to be believed. Also on the inside in the purple with the nose roll is See the Fire as well. But here's Ombudsman just getting over heels. Buick gives him a whack around the backside and he just absolutely takes off and shoots up the hill. And he just dominates this race in the end. So I think we'll see similar tactics on a Wednesday night. I do think he's going to sit in behind them on the speed there and look to have last shot at them like Delacroix did have at him last start. And I suppose the final and most important replay that we do need to have a look into this is over in Dubai. It's the Shima Classic and Danon Desal in the red with the nose roll. He gets over the top of Rebels Romance here and wins well, but you need to look in behind in the Aga Khan colours. That's Calandagan. So that form is all tied in with Calandagan obviously coming out and winning the King George. Rebels Romance was in that race. He's then since gone on and won a Group 1 in Germany. But look at Danon Desal absolutely stomping up there, winning with consummate ease. I know he comes back to the 2,000 metres now. That was over 2,400. Of course, he is a Derby winner over in Japan as well. But look, he's a really, really good horse. He's had 9 starts for 5 wins. When he is on like no other horse in this field. And look, I'm pretty happy to back him in this race because I think the race will set up nice and well for him here. There's going to be good speed in the race with Beer Castle as your pacemaker. My only little knock on Danon Desal is that Keita Tazaki obviously is taking on Ryan Moore and William Buick, Oyson Murphy, Mikhail Barcelona. So he's got his work cut out for him. But this horse is more than good enough. You've seen in the turn of foot that he showed in the Dubai Shima Classic that he's more than good enough to get over the top of some world-class horses. He ran a world-class rating that night. No, if Ombudsman's at his best, he's going to be hard to beat. But I just think at the price that we're going to get on a Wednesday night, that we can back number 2 Danon Desal for a win bet. And if we want to play around with the exotics, I think even having an exacta with number 2 Danon Desal to beat 3 Ombudsman and 6 Delacroix. But the main bet here is Danon Desal. I think he's a cut above them. He's on the way to the Arc, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do on Wednesday night. We're going to take a look at 2 other races on the card, the first of which being a race number 2 is the Tattersalls ACOM Stakes here for the 2-year-olds over 1,400, 7 furlongs here. Really interesting race. You've got Distant Storm, the Godolphin horse for William Buick and Charlie Appleby, who was a winner on debut. And you've also got Italy for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien, of course, by Wootton Bassett out of Bound. just an absolutely brilliantly bred horse, one of the best that you will see. Of course, that's no shock to anyone. But look, at the prices, then I think the prices that we're going to get on the World Pool on Wednesday night, I'm happy to back Italy here. Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien has said, I thought he was quite good when winning at Leopardstown on debut. He was a pretty short price favourite that day, won with ease. And then he was solid at Newmarket. I know Saba Desert won that race quite well, but the SP in that race is really one that I want to follow in that race. He just kept in touch with the leaders that day and then just got outstayed over the final 100 metres there. So look, I'm happy to give him another chance here over Distant Storm, who was quite good on debut, but I do think this is a little bit of a step up from his last start here. Of course, Godolphin will have a good idea of how good the Distant Storm form is and how good the Italy form is, given Saba Desert is another Charlie Appleby horse. But I just think that race experience, Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, they know exactly what they're doing. And look, they're probably in for a really big evening on Wednesday night over at York. They do have some really nice horses in, and we're going to talk about that as well, because we do have race number 3, which is a really interesting race because in recent years, it's also proven to be a Melbourne Cup form line race with the Great Voltage Stakes. It's a Group 2 for the 3-year-olds over 2,400 metres, and the Derby hero Lambourne turns up here. Hasn't been seen since the 29th of June when he was a winner at the Curragh in the Irish Derby, and really had to knuckle down to win that, but did win that well. Before that, he was quite strong when winning the Derby at Epsom, of course. So he's won the 2 derbies on the way in. He's had 5 wins from his 7 starts, but this season as well, he's been absolutely fantastic as he has built up. He's had the 4 runs. He's won 3 of them. The one race where he was rolled, he was beaten by Delacroix. So look at how good that form is. Of course, you've got Karma's number 2, the unbeaten horse here, who was a really strong winner last start at Royal Ascot in the Queen's Vase. Does step back from a mile 6 furlongs, so has to come back from 2,800 to 2,400 metres. But the way that he was strong through the line last start, you do think that he might take up the pace because he was on speed that day at Ascot. And if he can get that and can get rolling, he'll try and probably outstay Lambourne, who we haven't seen over the further distance than the mile and a half as of yet. So look, I'm pretty much leaning that way at the moment. I know that Stay True has looked all right in both of its starts to its career to date by Galileo out of bounds, but I just think Lambourne, bringing those 2 Derby wins, you're probably not going to get much spoil at a price as well, given obviously his form credentials. He's just simply better than these horses in this race. This does look to be a logical lead up for him to some better races later on in the season, but I'm pretty happy to back Lambourne to finish off the evening there. There's a couple of races previewed to you for the World Pool event this week at York, well, Wednesday night, shall we say, because we do have 3 nights of racing action coming your way, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and a Friday night. We'll be back on a Thursday morning to take you through Thursday night, which is Yorkshire Oaks Day as well. We have seen some very good horses coming out of the Yorkshire Oaks in previous years as well. So I expect it to be another cracking edition this Thursday. Of course, thank you to our friends at the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Do make sure you bet with the World and the World Pool this week at York. As said, 23 races across York and Newmarket for you this week. So we'll be betting all week into the World Pool. If you're having a bet tonight, good luck. Make sure you gamble responsibly, but we'll catch you tomorrow on the World Pool Preview.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.